Hey everybody, welcome back to Logo Design Bootcamp episode number 17. My name is Steve Looney from GraphicDesignerTips.com, and in today's episode of Logo Design Bootcamp, as always, you're going to learn some really awesome tips and techniques in Adobe Illustrator CS6 on how to build logos. So for today's logo, based on the letter Q, believe me, I lost sleep last night. I had no idea what the heck I was going to do for the letter Q. I even did a search online for words that begin with the letter Q, and I was just mind-boggled trying to figure out a good concept for today. So I had to jump out of the English language, do a little bit of half and half, and do a logo for a cheese company, but not cheese with a C, but queso, as in Spanish cheese. So it's called Quality Queso, and whoever's laughing at me right now, you have a right to, because literally I had no ideas left. But anyway, I came out with a phenomenal logo with a lot of little new things that you're going to learn if you've been watching all our videos. There's a couple new things in here, so let's get on it. The Quality Queso logo is very well balanced, basically down the center. That is the type of design that is my style. I use a chunky kind of exotic font for the this middle area, and quality wasn't as important as the word cheese because people are searching for cheese. So basically, that's what you want to really emphasize in this one. If you did not notice at first, the letter Q, I emphasized that visually by making a block of cheese and cutting it out right here with another little piece of cheese to make it look like the letter Q. If you didn't notice that at first, now you do notice it. This barn was a barn that I retraced from a photo I found on the internet. Obviously, I don't know how to trace a barn from my visual memory, so that's what I did there. And I'm going to show you today how to do a perspective or really a distort that makes a perspective like I did on the fence. I'm going to show you in the background how to do these brush type strokes that make it more of a texture, of the cheese. And I'm going to show you how to do the basically outlines of all these to make it pop out from the symbol in the back. So let's get into Adobe Illustrator CS6 and I will show you exactly how to do that. All right, so the Quality Queso logo took me about maybe 2+ hours to actually build, just going through over concepts and stuff like that and just refining some things. But we're going to try to get this done in the next like 20 minutes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come up, we're going to make an ellipse. And you're going to make sure that ellipse has a black stroke and it's filled with some kind of a brown gradient just like that. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to make another circle within here. And we're going to put a stroke of a light brown or beige type color. And we're going to add some of that on there. And just make sure in your align tools everything is centered by using the center points right here. Center horizontally and center vertically. All right, so now because these are strokes, we're going to have to outline the strokes, which is going to make them shapes by going to Object, Path, Outline, Stroke. And now that they are shapes, we can come in here with our pen tool and cut out this piece of cheese. And we're going to do that by coming, and we're just going to draw a little triangle, however you'd like. Make sure you finalize that point right there. We're going to make sure it is on top of it, and I'm going to visually show you this by filling in like a red or something. And we're going to select all three of these elements, and we're going to come here into the Pathfinder and hit Divide. And basically what that's going to do is it's dividing all the elements that are intersecting each other. And you're going to now select this whole piece, which if you see, if I move it, it's actually grouped it together. And I'm going to come here, right click, and I'm going to go to Ungroup. Or you can go to Object, Ungroup up here. And now that we did that, we're able to just select these elements in here and pull them out. Pretty cool, right? All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to, let's see what we're going to do here. Okay, we're going to fill this with that same gradient, and obviously we want to make it more believable, so let's make it so it's really dark, as if it was cut right out of that piece. And after that gradient, we have the stroke, which is right here, which is this color. We're going to fill it with that color. And the last thing we have is, see, this was the extra piece. We need to delete that. This other piece out here, which is the black, we need to change that red to black. Actually created two pieces. Okay. Let's just zoom in here. That's what we want right there. Yeah, created some extra pieces for whatever reason. So now we have our little cutout right there. and later on we'll make it a little bit more three-dimensional. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make these lines in here, the horizontal lines, and we're going to do that by making a line segment right here. Just straight, hold the shift button when you're making that, and we're going to fill it with black just so you can see it. And we're going to come down here, and we're going to option click, and we're going to move it down here to create another line. Now we're going to use something called the blend tool, or hit W on the keyboard. And basically, before we do anything, we're going to double click this. And there's a couple of different options in here. You want to do specified steps. And we're going to do 40 and keep the orientation just like so. And we're going to hit OK. And basically what that means is from here to here, I'm going to create 40 instances of that. And it's going to create, I guess, you know, whatever I want it to be. And in the end, it's going to be a texture. So we're going to click the first line with this little box. And we're going to click the second line. And all of a sudden, it just created those 40 instances. And now, if you can see, basically, this is connected in a specific way where it can blend whatever way you want. So if you pull it this way, it's going to do that, which is pretty cool. But I don't want to really do that in this case. I want to make them all their individual lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to Object Expand. All right, and I'm going to hit OK. And now these are all individual strokes, and I'm going to put a weight of about 2 on there. And then I'm going to come into my brushes, and we're going to put a texture on these now. Now the way you do that is basically you want to hit this drop down right here, and you want to go to Open Swatch Library. Not Open, what am I doing? Brushes. We want to hit this down and open Brush Library. And we're going to come in here to Artistic and Artistic Chalk Charcoal Pencil. And we're going to get all these fun things that we can apply. So we're just going to pick, say, this one right here. And if we click off, this is what it's basically going to look like. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it with white, because now this is a stroke. We got to make sure that our stroke is filled with a color, which is going to be white. And we're going to do what I like to do, and we're going to turn it into an overlay. And we're going to take it down to about 40%. So this is all experimentation, so mess around with that on your own, and you'll figure out what works for you. And basically, now I have it on top of here. I could, in fact, do what I did here, and see it's not going over these strokes on the outside by making a clipping mask. But you know what? For right now, I kind of like it. That's something for you guys to play around with, and on your. You know what? I actually can't do that to you. I have to clip this because of this other piece I'm going to make come out the side. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make an ellipse. We're going to make an ellipse around basically the black, because you can't really see past that area. So we're going to take that ellipse, and now while we have it selected, we're going to hold Shift, and we're going to click this. So Shift, what that did was it allowed us to click multiple elements at one time, and we're going to right click and go to Make Clipping Mask. All right, so now you see that, well, you don't see, but basically these are not going off the edge anymore. So now I can make another ellipse for this back where the cheese sticks out, and it becomes more three-dimensional. And I'm going to, just for argument's sake, just throw it right in the back and throw any color on there for now. So now if I was to take this clipping mask that I did and I release it, see what happens? It's going to go right over that. So let's back up, Command Z, and this is another area we're going to have to fine tune right here by getting this out, because we don't want to see that cheese there. So you can do that from a number of ways. We can do it the same way as before, which what we're going to do now is we're going to make a triangle. And we're just going to minus the front because it's on top of it. I just drew it on top by coming up to our Pathfinder and doing that. And whenever you do that, it sends the element to the front. So we're going to now come back up to here and go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. So now it's behind everything. Move that in a little bit. You mess around with the colors later if we want, or if you want. But that's basically how we do that outside. Now the next thing I'm going to show you is how to do the type, which is going to be very simple. We're going to type in the word quality, and we're going to hit escape. Whenever you do any kind of text, you have to escape. It gets out of the selection. And what's the name of this font? It's called Mesquite Standard Medium. MES. Select that right there. And I am a big believer in not distorting fonts, but in this case, I distorted the heck out of this font, and it still looked fine. So we're going to fill that with white, and we are going to now, we're going to come into our character, and we're going to add some tracking. It's going to add space after the letter, and we're going to click, and now we're just going to shrink this a little bit. It just gives it a different effect when you add space between the letter. If you have space to fill, it's a good reason to do it. But now we're going to come to Command C and Command B. And I'm going to, basically what I did was I copied it and then I sent it to the back. That's what the Command B did. But not completely to the back. It sent it right behind itself. And this is something I do in every single tutorial. And we're going to put a default fill in here. And we're going to make the stroke a little bit larger so you can see that. And make sure the corner is a round corner so you don't have those little miter things sticking out. And next, we're going to come up to here to stylize and do a drop shadow. Hit preview all the time. And since that's a nice little subtle drop shadow, that's what I like right there. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to type in the word Queso, E-S-O. All right, hit escape. We're going to come up here to our character and turn that tracking off by setting it to 0. And basically, I'm going to make this word rather large so it hangs out. And we're first, for right now, we're just going to fill it with black so you can see it on top of everything. And we're going to go to Command C and Command B. All right, we're going to go and put a brown stroke on there first. This is just kind of how I did it. I had the fill, the brown, a light brown, and then a black, and then a shadow. So there's a lot of things that make it what it is, but in the end, it looks a lot better than just flat text. So we're going to make sure this stroke is brown, and we're going to put in another thing on there. And we're going to now go to Command C and Command B again, and we're going to take this brown that we've been putting in here, which this is the brown up here, and what you're going to do is you're going to, you're going to copy it over by, basically what you do is all you come up here to your color and you drag it in. All right, and it creates a new instance. Now, I do not want to go through too many different types of browns, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create that as a spot color, and now do a percentage of that to get my lighter brown. And what I mean by that is you're going to double-click the swatch that you just added, and we're going to come in here into color type and go to spot color, hit OK, and now I can select this range from 0 to 100, and it's going to give me basically any value of that color, which is pretty cool. And I'm going to now make that a little bit larger. Wait, excuse me, before I do that, I have to command. I didn't send it behind itself yet. So we're going to lighten that. I'm going to add it onto there and make sure that corner is capped so it doesn't look funny. And then the last one I'm going to do is, let's make that a little thicker. The last one I'm going to do is Command C, Command B, and I'm going to make that black. All right. Going to make that a little bit larger. Now we have our word Queso. And the only thing we have to do to this now, basically, is we just got to click the first one. That's all in black. We need to go to Type, Create Outlines, or Shift Command O, and create a gradient inside of it. And basically mess with your levels and get it to where you want it to be. So that's pretty much where I want it. All right, so we have the word Queso. The only thing I will do in here is I want to make that the first stroke behind the original Queso to be thicker. So we're going to come up here to this element and we're going to go to Object, Lock, Selection, or Command 2. And now when we select the next one, we pull it out. You're going to see it's the one with the dark brown stroke. Let's make that a little thicker. All right, and actually I got to corner cap that too. And so it looks a little bit better. Perfect. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lock all these. So Command 2, Command 2, Command 2, Command 2 until we get to the last one that has a black stroke. And we're going to come up to here, Effect, and add a drop shadow to it. It's very, very subtle, but it's something that always adds a little bit of character, of course. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create these little circles in the background. And I'm just going to take a sample of what I did. All you have to do is just make a bunch of different random circles, group them together by hitting Command G after you select all of them. And let's put that in the front right now, and I'll show you what I did. This is what it's going to look like when it's filled with white. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to come to overlay, and now it overlays those and it makes it a little bit more transparent. And we're going to lower our transparency to 40% to make them even lighter. Kind of move them around however you want. And I don't like the fact that it's over this word queso, so I'm going to come up here and go to Object, Unlock All, because I locked all these elements before. And I'm going to select just my text, and I'm going to go to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front, or Shift Command, I think open bracket, let's see, close bracket, okay? And all right, so now I'm there, pretty far along so far. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do this fun little fence here. And the way that I did this is I'm going to create basically the shape without the perspective. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of visualize it just like so. I'm going to add, these are little rectangles. I'm just going to fill them with black only. And I'm going to go to Option, click. I'm going to shift it down. Option, click, shift, and just make 3 levels. And I'm going to distribute them in our alignment tools through the center point so they're even. Always make everything even. It's good practice. And we're just going to make a bunch of these. And let's see. We're going to make 1. Shift Command Z, Option click Shift. 1, 2, 3. All right. Let's move these over more. Then about 2 more. And basically, I'm going to highlight all these, and I'm going to go to horizontal distribution through the center point in our align tools, and there is our nice little fence. Now, these are all individual elements, so I'm going to select these, and I'm going to go to Command G or Object Group, and we're going to come and lay this over here. Now, I want to fill this with white because this is where I eventually want it to be, and I am now going to come into my Effects, Distort and Transform, and Free Distort. And basically all I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this side a little bit higher like so. And this might take some experimentation. I'm going to back up. I don't like that. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to make that a little bit higher. I'm going to hit OK. And just mess around with this a little bit. Okay. Now we got our perspective on here, which is cool. But it's still not where I want it to be. And I'll tell you why. Because let's select this whole thing, and we're going to just scale it horizontally. I want it to go over these circles on the outside. But this looks kind of funny here. So what we're going to do now is, since this whole thing is a selection, it's grouped. We're going to come up here and expand it. So now we can actually mess around with our elements in that actual physical shape. And what I'm going to do here is, you can use the Pathfinder for this, or you can just pull points. But basically, we're going to start deleting parts of this fence. And we're going to do that by taking our pen tool, making a shape that hugs this area here, because I do not want anything going into this light brown. I'm just going to make a nice big circle, and I'm going to fill it with red so you can see it because it's hidden. I know it's there, but you don't. So I'm going to send that to the back by Object Arrange, Send to Back. And basically, I'm going to, while I have clicked this red, I'm going to now click, come here and Object Ungroup. We gotta do this a bunch of times on its own. So we're going to click this, and we're going to click one of these, and we're going to subtract the back, minus back in our Pathfinder. And you see what it just did right there? We're going to do that for all these. One, and basically what I'm doing is I'm copying that red piece right exactly where it was. So make sure you hit Command B every time you want to do that. And we're going to minus the back. Now Command B. We have it again. Select both of those. Minus the back. One more time. Command B. Select that. And minus the back. Now we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to make a shape with our pen tool. 1, 2. Close that shape. We're going to fill it with red. We're going to send it to the back. Object Arrange, Send to Back. And we're going to copy it, because remember, we're going to copy it to the back again and again to delete all those items. So we're going to come here, and we're going to go 1. All right, so it knocked that out. We're going to now Command B. We're going to cut out that one. Now Command B again. Same repetitive thing. All right, Command B. And this is the final one. All right, cool. So now we have that shape in there. That's a finalized way to do it. I mean, you could always make a clipping mask of that fence, and yeah, it'll hide everything. But, you know, when you send in this stuff for print and all that, you want to have it correct and, you know, done the right way. So the last thing I'm going to show you basically is this barn. Now, I basically took a picture of a barn. I found a picture of a barn on the internet, and I traced parts of it and changed it around, and I used, you know, different shades of this, and basically drew that entire barn. You know, these are different elements. I'm not going to show you how to draw this barn, but because that's going to be a nice half hour right there. But basically, I'm just going to put this in the area. I'm going to send it to the front, and I'm going to put it right behind the fence area. Okay, and I'm going to take the fence, which I don't have grouped anymore. So I have to select all this stuff that's not the fence. And I need to go to Object Lock Selection. And, all right, now I can select the fence. Nope, I got to lock these bubbles, cheese things, whatever. Lock Selection, Command 2. And I need to select this fence. There we go. And I'm going to go to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. So now it's in front of it. What's going on here? These elements did not come to the front. There we go. And this element did not come to the front. There we go. Okay, cool. And you can refine this stuff in here to make it look a little bit more believable. Let's see, did I miss anything? The only other thing I did in here was I physically drew. Let's see how I did this. Just one, because you want to make a little bit of perspective. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, 6, 7. And you want to fill that with another version of that spot color we made earlier, you know, a lighter version, and that makes it a lot more three-dimensional. So, you know, if you're building this right now, have fun with it. There's a lot of things you can do and change around on your own, but I basically taught you the guts of what you need to know to build the quality Queso logo. All right, so I hope you enjoy the quality Queso logo. I loved building this logo, and I love how it looks in the end. They just keep getting better and better, and I say that humbly, meaning I'm doing this for you guys, and I'm hoping that you're learning. And I know you're learning. I'm getting lots and lots of comments and people liking the video, and I appreciate that. So let me know what you thought of this video, what you learned, and what you can take out of it. And if you have any ideas for the future concepts of the rest of the series, you know, we have under 10 videos left, and it's crazy to say that because it feels like I just started this series. But if you have any ideas for the remaining letters, definitely let me know. Subscribe to our channel by clicking this little subscribe button right here, and you won't miss a video when we come out with one. And definitely check out our other videos in the series. I guarantee you watch all these videos, you will have the tools to become a better graphic designer, especially a logo designer. Logo design is the gateway, like the gateway drugs they have out there, gateway drug when it comes to gateway you know, stuff in graphic design. I just lost my whole train of thought. But it's the project that you get with a client, you do it right, and you get everything else from them. Hopefully. Their websites, their flyers, their postcards, direct mails, all that great stuff. So I'm Steve from GraphicDesignerTips.com. I hope you're learning. I'm glad to be teaching you. And everybody have a good night. Peace.